The story of Princess Nyah. In the golden lands of the Sahel, where the sun kissed the dunes and the rivers flowed like silver ribbons, there was a prosperous kingdom called Kumbi. It was a place of splendor and culture, where caravans brought gold and spices, and troubadours sang tales of kings and warriors under the moonlight. It was here that Princess Nyah was born, the third daughter of the king and Queen Mirembe. From her very first cry, it was clear that Nyah was different. Her eyes, though deep and brilliant like precious stones, did not follow the light around her. The kingdom's healers confirmed what her parents feared: she would never see. The king and queen, though they loved her dearly, worried about her future. In a world where beauty and strength were celebrated, how could a blind princess ever be admired? The girl who saw beyond eyes. While her older sisters Adana and Zoya were praised for their grace and appearance, Nyah developed a unique way of perceiving the world. She recognized people by the sound of their footsteps, felt the change in the wind before the rain arrived, and distinguished scents and voices with astonishing accuracy. Since childhood, she had the companionship of Tari, a young prince sent to Kumbi to learn from the king. He became her eyes, describing the world with words so vivid that Nyah could almost see it. Nyah, the market is a spectacle today. There are fabrics that shine like the sunset and bracelets that jingle like wind chimes. She would smile at his descriptions, painting images in her mind more vivid than any palace mural. However, despite her intelligence and kindness, Nyah felt invisible. Adana and Zoya were courted by noblemen, and poets compared them to goddesses. Nyah, always praised for her generous heart, longed to be admired for all that she was. One night as she walked beneath the stars, she asked Tari, "Am I beautiful?" Her friend hesitated. Then carefully he answered, "You have a beauty that few can see, Nyah." Though sincere, his words hurt. For the first time, Nyah wondered if, because she could not see, she was destined never to be truly seen. The potter who saw beyond. In a humble part of Kumbi, there lived a young potter named Khalid. He had neither land nor wealth, but his hands transformed clay into masterpieces. One evening, as Nyah walked through the market, she heard a hesitant voice asking for food. Who is Khalid? Her heart ached for him, and she ordered that he be given bread and water. From that day on, whenever she visited the market, Nyah brought something for him. Khalid never forgot this gesture. In a world of the powerful, where appearance mattered more than soul, the blind princess had seen in him something no one else did: dignity. The love that overcame darkness. Days passed and Nyah grew increasingly silent. The music that once filled her chambers was replaced by a deep emptiness. She avoided the palace corridors, and even Tari, her loyal companion, began to feel her absence. One afternoon, determined to understand what was troubling her, Tari went to her chambers and found her sitting at the edge of the marble fountain, her bare feet touching the water. Her face was turned toward the sky, but sadness weighed heavily upon her. "Nyah, why are you hiding?" he asked gently. She sighed before replying. "You once told me that my beauty was different, something few could see. But what if no one ever sees it? What if I am never desired like Adana and Zoya? I may be kind, I may be intelligent, but is that enough?" Tari knelt beside her and held her hand. "Nyah, there are many ways to be admired. Your light does not need others' eyes to shine." But his words were not enough to chase away the sadness growing inside her. The potter's bold step. Meanwhile, in the artisan village, Khalid noticed Nyah's absence. Every time she had visited the market, she had brought him something. A piece of bread, a small bundle of fruit, a gesture of kindness that made him feel seen in a world where few cared for the humble. Concerned, he decided to go to the palace. He knew a simple potter would never be welcomed in the royal halls, but his heart led him forward. Upon arrival, he encountered Adana and Zoya walking through the courtyards. When he approached to ask about Nyah, they looked at him with disdain. "How dare a potter seek a princess?" Adana mocked, crossing her arms. "Do you think someone like Nyah would waste her time with a man covered in clay? Go back to your workshop, Khalid. Princesses do not mix with men like you." Zoya added with a cruel smile. But before Khalid could retreat, a soft voice broke through the air. "Who is there?" It was Nyah. Adana and Zoya exchanged glances and tried to prevent Khalid from speaking, but he stepped forward. "It is me, princess." But the sound of his voice lit something inside Nyah. She turned in his direction. What are you doing here?" I came because I have not seen you in days and I feared something was wrong. Nyah hesitated. No one, aside from Tari and her parents, had noticed her absence. Khalid's concern was genuine and it touched her deeply. I am fine, she answered, but her voice trembled. I do not believe you, he said softly. I know something weighs upon your heart. Nyah felt tears burning her eyes. She had never liked showing weakness, but here before this simple man she felt no need to pretend. I am invisible to the world, Khalid. They tell me I am kind, that I am wise. But no one has ever seen me as a woman to be admired. There was a pause. Then Khalid stepped closer and said, I see you, princess. He frowned, surprised. What do you see in me? He took another step forward, his voice filled with emotion. I see a woman who, though blind, perceives the world in a way no one else can. I see someone who feels the wind as if it whispers secrets to her, who recognizes a noble heart before even hearing a name. I see the person who fed me when no one else cared. I see the princess who judges people not by their wealth but by their essence. Nyah felt a lump in her throat. Do you truly believe that? Khalid smiled. I do. And more than that, I believe your beauty cannot be measured by others' eyes. It is in everything that you are, Nyah. Tari, watching from a distance, smiled. For the first time Nyah had been truly seen. The king's judgment. That night, rumors of Khalid and Nyah's conversation reached the king's ears. A potter and a princess? This is absurd. Some nobles protested. But King Jabari knew his daughter had never shown interest in anyone before. Now for the first time she had. The next morning he summoned them both to the great hall. Khalid, the king began, I hear you wish to court my daughter. Despite the grandiosity of the palace, Khalid stood firm. Your Majesty, I only wish for the princess to know she is seen and loved as she deserves. I have no gold, no land, but I have a heart that belongs to her. Nyah stepped forward. Father, Khalid sees me as I have always wished to be seen. His love is not based on titles or riches. That is why it is real. The king studied his daughter's face. Finally he nodded. If Khalid has a noble heart and makes my daughter happy, who are we to stand in their way? And so, against all odds, Nyah and Khalid were together, proving that true beauty lies in the soul and that love sees no barriers, only paths to grow stronger.